Okay, so here is a file I've worked on. Um, I've got several layers. As you can see, I have my art layer and I have my photo layer, and then I have an adjustment layer right here. So when you start working on a file in Photoshop, it automatically creates what's called a Photoshop document with all these layers. So I brought in a JPEG, but then I added different layers to it. So if I come up to File, and if I do Save, see, it comes up here automatically as a PSD. That's a Photoshop document. So I can save that right now. Just see save it as a PSD, and I'm just going to save that right into my projects folders. And you see I'm saving it with the layers. Okay, and I want to maximize compatibility. So now I've saved it, so you can see right here it's a PSD. Now, once I have this file, say if I wanted to flatten these layers, I can come up to Layer and write down here Flatten Image, and you can see right now all my layers are flattened. If I do Command Z, that's undo, it brings back my layers. So with my PSD files, I want to save it with the layers because I want to, if I want to come back and work on it, all my work is right here. However, this is going to be a big file. So there's a couple of options to save as. So I'm going to just say we're going to save it as a JPEG, which means it's a compressed file. So I come down here to Save As. Now I don't do anything up here when I'm saving it as a JPEG. I come down here to Format. See right here it says Photoshop. So that's the Photoshop document. I come down to JPEG, click on JPEG, and you can see right up here it automatically changes the file extension. If you just come up here and if it's a PSD and you change it to JPEG, it's going to really cause huge problems. So please always come down to Format whenever you want to save your file in a different format. You can see right here this little warning right here next to the layers. It means there's layers, but if I save it as a JPEG file, it automatically flattens it. And I already had a file in there by the same name, so I'm just going to replace it. Now here with JPEG options, I want to have it at maximum because that's going to keep as much of the image quality as possible. Okay, so this was just sort of an introduction. You'll be introduced to other file types, but it all comes down to when you come to File and Save As, you can rename it here where it's highlighted, but do not touch anything after the .psd, and then you come down here to Format, and that's how you're going to save it. So if you want to save it as a TIFF file, which is good for sending to printers, and it integrates also nicely with other software programs, software design programs. So there's a little bit on saving files and file types.